Well, this is a weird one. Usually when I review something, I have a cut and dry template to talk about the pros and cons, but this iPad kinda sits in a weird position in the new iPad lineup. First, it is an iPad, and everybody already knows what an iPad is, so what is the point of talking about something that everybody knows about? First, we have the cheap iPad, which is for the normies and the kids, and it's good enough to be anybody's couch iPad, and that's about it. Then, for the real professionals, there are the iPad Pros. To be honest, are you really a real pro if you can do everything you want to do on an iPad? I'm just kidding, guys, calm down. Getting back to the topic, iPad Air 2019. The middle child of the iPad lineup. On the surface level, it looks exactly like the cheap iPad, but on the inside, it is closer to the iPad Pros more than anything else on the market. The 2019 has a 10.5-inch screen, which is the same size screen as the cheap iPad, but this is a much better screen overall. The screen features a 2224 pixels by 1668 pixel panel with a peak brightness of 415 nits. But those are just the specs and nobody really cares about them. What really matters is that on a day-to-day basis, I think this display is pretty good. The colors are bright and vibrant. The screen is actually glued to the touchscreen, and that makes it a much more immersive experience when compared to the cheaper iPad. Although the bezels on the top and the bottom don't help with the immersion, but they are definitely a prominent aspect of this iPad. I can call it antiquated, dated, or even boring, but tell you the truth, these bezels are the best place to rest your thumb when you're holding this iPad in landscape mode. I haven't owned an iPad Pro, but in my opinion, I like having the thumb rest on my iPad. On the inside, there is an A12 Bionic processor that powers this beast of a machine. Usually you don't hear people call this iPad a beast machine. Instead, they all collectively start raving about how good the iPad Pro is at pushing limits of what an iPad can do. I'm not necessarily criticizing what they're talking about, but I'm saying all that is still valid for this iPad as well. Other than being able to connect USB-C accessories, in terms of raw power, this iPad can do almost everything that the other iPad Pros can do. I've used this iPad as my primary device for recording audio using my lavalier microphone that can be plugged directly into the 3.5mm headphone port, which is still available on this iPad by the way, followed by editing the audio on this iPad using Ferrite, which is a very capable audio editing app for the iPad. The output audio from Ferrite was then used as a voiceover for the video that was edited on this iPad using Power Director. And guess what? You're watching that video right now. Other than video editing, I've used this iPad for light gaming. With the newest iPad OS, you can connect any Bluetooth controller without any hacks and start playing your favorite games. I mean your favorite games that offer support for controllers. In my mind, I've always compared this iPad to the 2018 and the 2020 iPad Pros. But to be honest, this iPad is literally the iPad Pro from 2017 with a newer processor. It is like the iPhone SE of the iPads. Although it didn't bring over the 120Hz display and the quad speaker setup from its predecessor, it definitely brought the connector that lets you connect the smart keyboard accessory from Apple. I don't necessarily have anything negative or positive to say about the keyboard cover. It does the job and it is available for fairly cheap on the used market. Similarly, you also have the ability to use the first generation Apple Pencil. It is a great tool to draw and take notes on your iPad, but it is fairly expensive of an accessory. If you don't plan to take notes or drawing on this iPad, there's no reason to get that pencil. Especially after the iPad OS 13.4 update, which brought the ability to use any Bluetooth mouse with this iPad, which means you can use a mouse which is a much more precise interaction tool than the Apple Pencil can ever be. Speaking of iPad OS 13.4, this iPad offers a complete feature set of iPad OS 13. You can have two apps side by side for multitasking without any issues. If the apps and split screen allow it, you can also pull in a third app from the side over and switch between those three apps without any hiccups whatsoever. I'm not going to throw benchmarks in your face because I think they don't really mean anything, but I can tell you that this is a beast machine. I would recommend anyone who's looking to pick up an iPad should consider this as their option. Having all that said, this iPad is not my main computer. I have a Surface Pro for light tasks, a fairly powerful desktop for gaming and video editing, a Lenovo P53 for work, which is a lot of 3D modeling, and I still pick up this iPad for writing scripts, editing audio, recording audio, and it has never let me down. I think this is one of the most powerful computers that you can pick up for about $600, which is where I would like to conclude this video. If you have a powerful computer and you would benefit from a fairly portable yet very powerful computer, this iPad can be for you. And if you don't need another computer, you just need something to play games on, get the cheaper iPad. Finally, if you need a computer replacement and you would benefit from the screen real estate and the ability to connect USB-C accessories, only then you should look at the iPad Pros. Basically, iPad Air is the jack of all trades, master of none, the perfect middle child of the iPad lineup. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If this video helped in any way possible, please hit the like button, and if you want more videos like these, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. This is Geet.